Hey, this is Darren from Property Prosperity. I'm trying something different tonight. I'm actually going to give you a bit of a sample of a property that I sold, well, it settled actually last week, so it's a pretty recent example. But I just wanted to explain to you a little bit how agents can do things a bit differently. They don't all have to do the same thing where they just hand out a few flyers and have a couple of open inspections. So this property I did market it on Facebook to try and get a few people to come along and have a look at it, and it ended up selling. Well, I had an identical house next door that sold through another agent, and that sold about a year or so beforehand, but the market had pretty much done nothing prior to that. So it wasn't really any capital gains because of it, but it sold about $78,000 more than the house next door, and it sold a lot quicker than the average time that a house sells too. So it sold in about just over a week. So I thought before we start, I'll just probably prove to you that it is actually a real house, and you can have a bit of a look at the way it was, the property itself. So I'm going to try and show you my screen here, and it works okay. So the property next door was number 2 Cully Street, Aldinga Beach, which you can see there it sold at $252,000. That was in December 2014. My property that I sold was number 4 Cully Street, Aldinga Beach, which you can see here sold at $330,000. And that just settled in June, the 6th of June. So, well, actually the sale date was 6th of June, but it settled only last week. So, so you can see that's sort of about a $78,000 difference between the two properties. The reason I know that the two properties are identical is because I actually did a development and I subdivided the two properties and built both of them. I actually sold the property at number 2 Cully Street about 4 years earlier for about $270, and then the owner obviously then sold it for $252 a couple of years down the track, so that wasn't so good for him. But rather than that, rather than just talking about that, what I thought I'd talk about is about one of the ways I marketed the property, which is a bit different to what other agents do, and the fact that I actually marketed it on Facebook. So I'm just going to show you my advert that I put on Facebook when I was advertising the property here. So I'm going to flick you around again. So if I just click on the advert here, it will show me an example of my advert. There it is there. So you can see a nice photo. And one of the things about the way I market properties too, it's essential to have really nice photos. So you can see just wrote up in there on the Facebook ad, if you're looking for seaside living at a bargain price, then this is it. Walk to the Esplanade for just $299,950. So this is a bit less than what my asking price was, or what I was hoping to get, but I knew that would appeal to a lot of people. I'm just going to quickly show you what happens when you click on that link. So when you click on that link, it comes through to here, and then straight away, this very first advert, it would, well, this one does not a very good example because it's expired because it's already sold, but it takes you through to the video then. And that's the very first thing that people click on once they start looking at the property is going to be the video. So yeah, so you can see pretty much anyone that sees the ad, if they click on the advert, they're going to come through to the video. And so that means it highly likely then if someone clicks on the ad, they're going to see the video. And again, if they've seen the video, watched the whole video, then there's a pretty good chance they're going to come and, you know, have a good look at the property. If that's something that suits them, they might come along and buy it. So having a look at how I went. So I decided what I'd do is spend $300, which in the world of advertising for houses is not very much. So I spent $300 for a period of just over here, you can see, from the 24th to the 28th of May, so only 4 days. So I spent $300 in advertising, and I did it pay per click. So basically that means that I only have to pay money when someone clicks on it. So what that means is for Facebook is they want people to click on it. So they're going to try their best to try and get people to click on it. And the crazy thing is they actually charge in a bit of an unusual way. They actually charge per click, but the thing is the more relevant the advert is, the less they'll charge you. So if they start to get lots of people clicking on your advert, that means people really like it because they want relevant content to be on Facebook, and so they'll actually charge you less. So originally when I first started out, in the first day or so, they were charging me, you know, $1 or more for per click, and then eventually by the time I got near the end, because I had a lot of engagement, then I ended up getting about 65 cents per click. So the price actually came down because it was more popular than what Facebook had expected it to be. So you can sort of see the way it, right at the start, it boosted up there, but that's Facebook putting out lots of ads to try and get people to look at it. And over time, because I was slowly spending my $300, they started reducing the amount of adverts they were putting out there, because they put it in front of about 2,500 people. So that was 2,500 people, in theory, scrolled through the advert. And of that, about 459 people actually clicked on the ad. So, and if you click on the ad, that's going to take you straight to that video. So there's a pretty good chance then that if, 459 people clicked on the ad, there's a pretty good chance most of those would have watched the video. So you can imagine what that would mean is, I've actually had about 459 people watch my video for my house for sale. And what I thought I'd do too is just show you how awesome Facebook is as well, is because you actually can control who is going to look at the property. Thanks for the like, I really appreciate that. If you like what I say, then feel free to click on the like button. I really appreciate that. And so what we can actually do is control who actually sees the property as well. And because I knew, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, double garage house, you don't really want 18-year-olds looking at it. And I probably, I made sort of assumptions of who I wanted to see the ad, so I can really start narrowing it down. But we can see what ended up happening as far as Facebook was concerned. The number of females, the age between 24 and 34, 31% were aged between that age group, and 29% were between the age of 35 and 44, and we had a smaller percentage between the age of 45 to 55. So you can see by far and away it was that sort of 25 to 45-year-old age group, and mainly women. If we look at the blokes over here, 14% to 24%. So there's a lot less engagement by the men than there was the women. So again, if I wanted to go out and do another, obviously I sold it in a week, so I don't really have to go out and do any more marketing. But if I wanted to go out and do, then I'd know then to narrow it down to women between a certain age group, because then I'm getting more bang for my buck then, basically. So yeah, you can see that that really went a long way towards me trying to sell the property. Obviously, there's a whole pile of other things I do when I'm trying to sell properties too, to try and create a bit of excitement and to try and create that sort of circus atmosphere, I suppose, where I get, my aim is to try and get hundreds of people to come to my first open. So, that property there, I think the average time on market, let's have a quick look here. I'll quickly come in and show you what the average time on market here. So looking at that other property next door, that was the agent marketing the other property next door. If we look, so it was probably about a year or so this agent sold his property, but we see the median house price had actually dropped over the last 5 years by 18%. So the fact that I sold my property for about $78,000 more than his property, that's basically going against the odds as far as the market's going. And you can see the average days on market is about 105 days on market. And obviously, so me selling my property in a week, you can see that's definitely bucking the trend as far as the market. So I suppose that's what I wanted people to notice, is that you don't have to do the same as what every other agent's done. You don't have to just accept what the market's giving you. So if the market's gone down by 20%, that doesn't mean you have to go down by 20%. What you have to do is you just have to try a little bit harder to go out there and create a market. Really, at the end of the day, you got to try and bring the market to the house, and then you got to present the house in such a good light that people want to buy the property and they think it's an awesome property. And again, all you need is, it's great to have one buyer, but I really want 2 buyers, and I want 2 buyers that are passionate, that fall in love with the house, because they're going to essentially pay too much, hopefully, is the aim. I want them to pay a bit more than they otherwise would, because it becomes an emotional decision and not purely a decision focused on money. So hopefully that's made sense to you guys, and hopefully you've got some use out of that. And if you've got any questions, then feel free to put a comment in the comment box. And if you have any other topics you'd like me to talk about down the track, then put some comments in there. If you like what I had to say, then click on the like button. If you haven't liked it, then still click on the like button, because I really appreciate it. If you know someone's about to put their property in the market and you think maybe they're looking at different agents, they're not really sure how to choose between them, maybe their social media campaign might be a way to work out whether your agent is trying harder than another agent, I suppose. So perhaps if you share this link, send it through to your friend, and I'm sure they'll find it interesting. So thanks for joining me, guys. I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.